Good evening and welcome back, poetry lovers. It is I, ZM Wise, and here I am with another home recording just for you. Here we are with Dustin Pickering. It has been goodness knows how long since we've sat down with him. We have been up to quite a bit with Transcendent Zero Press, what with the multitude of manuscripts and issues of Harbinger Asylum, including certain changes that are about to take place next year. But we will get to that later. Dustin here is going to give us a brief overview of his solo publications, and he has them in hand, and then he will mention certain others that he does not currently have on his person, and you could find them online, and I will just let Dustin take it away.
So the ones that are not online, or that are online that are not in my hand right now, are A Matter of Degrees, which is a philosophical tract written in sort of a flash poetry style. And then there is The Red Velvet Robe, which is a fairy tale, very interesting, intriguing fairy tale about a magician, a wizard who claims at first not to be a wizard, who has a velvet robe that can make a person invisible, and what that implies in the story is it's amusing, it's funny, but it's also kind of scary. But it has a typical fairy tale style. So check that out. It's available from Alien Buddha Press, and The Matter of Degrees is available from Hawako Press. Publishers they've now become a limited publishing concern, which is a business orientation in India, so they've officially documented their business with the government. So that, and then I look through these books here, and we have From Beginning to End here. This is Frenetic No Contest. This was a book of ekphrastics written in different styles, different types of meter. Fred Fox at Alien Buddha Press, he is the one who decided to use his artwork and his photography in this. This is my poetic vision of a cover for this book. It's called "Whatever the Hand Sees, Let It Grasp" is the name of that pastel painting there, and I did that one in 1999. So this book is it's a very small little book, and it had Charles Bain Jr. gave a good positive review for that. We have The Forever Abode. This cover design was Glenn Monroe Irby, and I decided on the art. Glenn is no longer with us, unfortunately. A really good gentleman. We loved him so much, and he was very kind to us, and he helped us push our business forward quite a bit. So God bless him wherever he may be. And this is love. This is what I would call disappointed and despairing love poetry, written after a heartbreak which is now completely washed away. I no longer have any concern with this person who has inspired this book, who will not be named at this point and in this juncture. I'll read a little piece from this just to kind of give you a sampling of what it's sort of the mood and the spirit. I have to move my glasses here. Okay, they're all mostly untitled poems. This is one that starts off: Mystic fire of the path, leaves fallen from branches, seeking the final hum of life. As courtesy makes you a mirror dancer, I can only love once truly, and my energies are exhausted. Burnt cauldron, thoughtless flights of domain, a curve in space-time curse, watchful engines bathing beside your tidal crossing. O sight, develop an optimism of death. Final focus on one soft room where the crows wait. If a murder, then nothing will sing the gallantry of time. Time, kisses wet, has recalled the music, and the dancers are slowly making way for the reality of reunion. That's from The Forever Abode, and that's a TZ Press publication. We also have Knows No End, which was a mostly aesthetic exploration, inspired by none other than Vera Icon, local cosplay, model, graphic designer, and artist. This book was published by Hawako Publishers again, and it's an exploration of through seasons of a journey of an artist painting a flower, which happens to be, in this case, a hyacinth flower, and that hyacinth flower represents Hyacinth, the Greek, the young Greek boy who was killed by Apollo on accidental when they were throwing a discus around, and the west wind was jealous, I believe, and accidentally took the discus and flew it into and killed Hyacinth, and that's what the flower supposedly is a symbol of the sacrifice of this young man's death and the mourning therein. So this book kind of talks about aesthetic creation and uses that myth as a starting ground to explore that through different seasons, and it goes through seasons like their moods. This person is painting this flower. It's the ultimate object of artistic contemplation in the book, and the painter is inspired again by Vera Icon, who was in the book as a character, but she's not actually. I don't name her or anything except in the introductory writing where I explain the premise of the book. But anyway, check this book out, Knows No End. It's available on Amazon. And then we have this wonderful collection. This was new. This is this year only, and again, art by Sophia Khatun out of India, Calcutta to be specific. This was published by Set U Publishers out of Philadelphia and New Delhi, India, and Philadelphia, USA. And this book is a tale of three muses, as I call it. The muses are Lisa Marie Bazille and I can't remember her name. I call her Muse Anna in the book. Anna, she's an author. She's a poet as well. So, you probably know her name. And the third was Monica Lewis. I don't know why I can't remember. Roadblock. It's called. It's a little mental block right now. Anna Suarez. That's her name. Anna Suarez. And she wrote a book called Pappy Doesn't Love Me Anymore. It's published by Clash Books. So check that out if you're interested and you read this book and you find it interesting. Take a look at her own work because her work is very good as well. And this book, I'm gonna read a poem from this. I'm just gonna pick something and read it. This one is an untitled piece. Grace abounds where sin places his hand. Your hand is my mothering. Touch my glory and seek the light like a sickness. Carry the grief of your own heart into bliss, a classic trust in the argument. I am not laughing at the point you made. Your eyes are stolen from stars and emeralds. Are you an envious worm? Does your flesh seek finality? Have too many deaths caused an embarrassing fear? Listen to the gorgons as they gouge out the eyes of fear. Mother, you are a temperamental in truth. Veracity is not the strong man of wisdom. Something in this wicked garden seduces me full. So that is Only and Again published by Set U this year, 2001, I believe in January. Then we have another book from Alien Buddha Press. This is a novella, which is an odd, thing for me because I normally do poetry. So this is the first time. This was inspired by Lisa Canterol at Clash Books. I just want to give her a little shout out there. But this book is a novella based on these three women who become sleuths in a supernatural murder mystery in which a murder takes place at the beginning. It turns to be a college roommate of the central character, and they go on a journey to figure out who it was. It turns out there's a lot of supernatural horror involved, and so this becomes a supernatural conspiracy book. And so it's called Be Not Afraid of What You May Find. And this art was done by the wife of Wed Fox, Frida Fox. Wonderful piece of art there that I think suits the work itself. And just many thanks to the inspirations that she inspired. Liza inspired the story. She kind of like hinted at the idea, and I just went off with it. And I thank those that were involved in this collection that were helped me kind of get some ideas behind it. So we also have, finally, this is one of my personal favorites of my own, dedicated to my soulmate Timberlake and her son Henry. This is The Stone in the Square. It was published again by Hawakal in India. And this collection it's got a great review from Quail Bell Press. Thank you, Alex Carragon, I believe his name is, did the review. And I'll read a poem from this. I'll pick a random one. There's 3 sections to this book, and this is from the last section. And by the way, this poem, I remember I took off a little bit from Ovid, the erotic poet. In this poem, he has a poem that's a very similar situation, and I decided to kind of run with that. This didn't actually happen, but this sort of is sort of a story of this poem is the Ovid poem I based this on. The door was slammed in my face. I turned and you were there, holding fire in flakes of forgetting. Sorry. I forgive my captor. Her heart is slim and dreary. Warm my salty tears. I want to bread feet of shadows. The only thing more precious than love is the experience of love. So that's from The Stone in the Square. And again, I have the 3 other collections, Matter of Degrees, which is a philosophical tract. It's basically some very short little, what they would call flash wisdom pieces in the matter of reflections on salvation from Kirti Sengupta. I took that, his idea, and I ran with that. And then there's a couple more out there available. The Red Velvet Robe, which is a fairy tale. And Zach, if you have anything to add, there was maybe another one I think that we mentioned beforehand for the interview. We talked a little bit about one of the other books I had released that we did not actually put on.
I don't recall interviewing you about the Jim Morrison.
And that was The Alderman, which is also by poems based on Jim Morrison. That was Alien Buddha Press. That was one of my first books published by them, and that is an excellent collection of fun poetry that I try to sort of take the spirit of Jim's poetry and use some of his own language to. That's why it's called The Alderman, because that was one of the words he frequently used in his poetry. And so I took that word and I kind of went with this concept of playing with the language and playing the same language games that Jim Morrison plays in his work. And as he said in his own book, listen, man, poetry doesn't say anything; it just ticks off the possibilities. So let's go with that. And thank you. If you have any questions, Zach, that you'd like to throw out for me to answer related to the works.
Yes, I actually do have a few. Number 1, what did the 3 aforementioned muses from Oling Again think of? What was the response initially?
I never did get a response from Lisa. I sent them all 3 of the different women in that. I did send them the work that they were in. Anna didn't. I don't think she read it until after I sent her a copy of the book. She bought a copy from me actually. She loved it. She was really happy with it. Monica, I think, also liked it quite a bit. She didn't say anything much about it. She just kind of said, gave me her blessing on it, said go forth with it. So, so that was a nice little thing we did. I had not shared the full book with either Monica or Lisa, just with Anna. And Anna, seems to have really appreciated what was written in there. So I was really happy to know that she liked the tribute that I gave to her in the work.
Definitely. Out of everything in your entire output, is there any particular book that means the most to you?
That's a good question. I don't know if there's one that means the most. I'm really this book, Stone on the Square, to me, just is a cap on everything I've done so far. And it's a very existential love exploration. And I think I'll be more involved in writing stuff like this in the future. I think this starts off a new era in my writing. I will continue to do other things that I've been doing, but I think this is sort of like, my hope book. And it was a fun book to write, and and I wrote this during the time when Texas was shut down, the power grid was shut down. I had if you mentioned it, I mentioned in the book, I had a little, camera light on my phone, and I used that, and I was under the blanket with the, trying to keep warm as it was freezing cold outside. There was no power. So I just wrote that those 3 or 4 days that was going on, the power was cut off, and it would come on for maybe 30 minutes at a time, and then go back off for almost 24, 48 hours after that. So I wrote this book in that period. I wrote this, except the third section. The third section had already been written. It's called Witch Hazel. This is a great book. This was a fun project, and it kept me alive during the freeze of Texas freeze of 2021. So buy a copy as soon as you get a chance. If you don't buy a copy, I will take you to court, and I'll court you in a lawsuit.
Brings a whole new meaning to the word courtship.
Right.
Court shite.
Court shit.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Dustin. Look him up on Amazon. Also look him up on transcendentzeropress.org. You want to also tell us what you've been co-host for quite some time now?
Check out Parrot TV, Parrot's Literary Corner on YouTube. It's Parrot TV, and just type in, go to YouTube, do a search for Parrot Literary Corner. We do poetry interviews, artistic interviews, musician interviews. Basically, it's a nice little series. We do 45-minute interviews roughly, and we recently interviewed George Onzi, and we interviewed several other fabulous and articulate writers and minds. And so this is a Creative Minds project. It's going to be associated in the future with World Inkers Network. So keep a lookout in 2022 for that. That'll be a excellent thing to get involved when we get that started.
And I will definitely include the link in the video description as well.
Excellent.
Yes. Thank you very much. Poetry lives. Long live the arts.